Toyota sweeps perhaps the most action-packed night of Daytona Duel races I have ever seen. We've got live reactions from drivers and much more in today's episode. How's it going, y'all? My name is Eric, reporter Eric, coming to you live from Daytona International Speedway. It's not live, but you know what I mean. Welcome to Out of the Groove post-Daytona Duel Race edition. So much to get to tonight. A huge night for Toyota. Tyler Reddick, 2311 Racing, wins dual race number 1. Christopher Bell, Joe Gibbs Racing, wins dual race number 2. Jimmy Johnson, Legacy Motor Club, qualifies for the Daytona 500, though J.J. Yeley put up a surprisingly good effort. Let's start with dual race number 1. Joey Logano started on pole after winning the pole for the Daytona 500 yesterday. Ford was fast in single-car runs, so were most of the Chevys, but Toyota lagged behind yesterday. I wasn't too surprised. I don't think most were too concerned. Toyota historically focuses on how they're going to draft, how they're going to race. Single-car speed at the super speedways isn't all that important to them. Eric Jones last night in P22 was the fastest Toyota. It did not take long in dual race number 1 for Eric Jones, Martin Truex Jr., Jimmy Johnson to make their way to the front. Once these cars got in the draft, the Toyotas looked to be as good or better than anyone else. So if you're a Toyota fan, I would not be too worried about Sunday, especially after Tyler Reddick on the last lap went from like 5th to 1st to get the win in his dual race. Congrats to Tyler Reddick. But the bigger story in this race wound up being Jimmy Johnson, Hall of Famer, 7-time champion, versus J.J. Yeley, former JGR guy, journeyman, veteran driver, battling for a spot in the Daytona 500. And it came down to the final corner on the final lap. Credit to NY Racing. We weren't even sure if they were going to show up to this race. The drama during the week, Greg Biffle saying, hey, I had to turn him down because I guess they haven't paid me in the past, allegedly. They announced J.J. Yeley will drive the car at the 11th hour. J.J. Yeley didn't even have his own fire suit. He was wearing Greg Biffle's fire suit tonight. That's how haphazardly this whole deal seemed to be put together, yet J.J. Yeley and NY Racing took it to Jimmy Johnson and Legacy Motor Club and Toyota Racing Development. Things did change in this race with 10 laps to go when a 4-wide stack-up in Turn 3 resulted in a crash that took Daniel Hemrick out completely and caused Jimmy Johnson to spin. Before that incident, Jimmy was still hanging on to the lead draft. J.J. Yeley had lost the draft after green flag pit stops, but that spin changed everything. Fortunately, Jimmy Johnson's car did not sustain any significant damage, but then it came down to a late race restart. Jimmy and JJ really, were side by side, door to door in the back of the pack the final few laps. J.J. Yeley cutting Jimmy off, running him down to the apron, racing him aggressively. It came down again to the final corner on the final lap when a stack up in front of them occurred. Yeley went to the outside trying to keep his momentum. Jimmy committed to the middle lane and got just enough push to sneak past the 44 across the line. Jimmy Johnson will race in the Daytona 500. He gets in by a matter of feet. Did not expect it to be that close between a Toyota Racing Development car driven by a Hall of Famer and J.J. Yeley with NY Racing. You know, a lot of folks are saying J.J. Yeley choked at the end because he went to the outside. That turned out to be the wrong decision. I do not agree. I'll explain why in just a moment. First, hear from J.J. Yeley directly on what he was thinking in that final lap.
Just tried to protect the best I could. Once we went into 3, I thought, man, I'm in good shape. Blocked Jimmy for about a lap and a half and lost, kind of screwed up his momentum. And there was some contact there. It looked like someone slowed down right in the middle. It looked like the 7 car, and I had to make it a split-second decision. I tried to carry my momentum, go around him, and hopefully clear him, or at least go 3 wide to where there wasn't a lane to pass, or lose that momentum, which I knew definitely would have lost. So went for what I thought was the quickest logical move. He went to the middle. The 19 pushed him. I just didn't have enough friends come to the checker.
J.J. Yeley ran one of the most impressive races of his Cup Series career, I believe. I'm being serious. I've already explained how the odds were stacked against him. He's driving arguably the slowest car in the field, probably the slowest car in that dual race, most likely. A team that only showed up to this race at the last minute. Again, he was wearing another driver's fire suit. This deal was literally thrown together last minute. J.J. Yeley should not be racing door-to-door with Jimmy Johnson for a spot in the Daytona 500. He's not supposed to be there. He did a great job early on, hanging in the lead draft, was running top 15 actually. He looked very sporty, very competitive. Pit crew pit stops. They lost the draft, were saved by that caution. But then Yeley raced Jimmie Johnson hard but fair in the closing laps, just came up a little short. I don't think he choked. I'm actually extremely impressed with J.J. Yeley after the performance he put on tonight. As for Jimmie Johnson, can breathe a huge sigh of relief that he is in the show. Shoot, he's got the band Cred on his car. I saw Cred, the band, walking around the garage earlier today. Jimmie Johnson said in the media center afterwards that on that final lap, he was thinking about everything that could go wrong. If he missed the show, that was going to lead to hard conversation. I'll just let Jimmie Johnson explain in the media center.
I mean, I'm literally going down the back straightaway. No one's white flag. I can see the 44 car in front of me. He's like 4 or 5 ahead. The 19's pulled out to help me, but he's so far back, he's not going to get to me in time. I'm like, I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make the Daytona 500. I'm gonna have to call all of our partners. I'm gonna have to stand in the suite and shake hands during the 500 and not drive a car. Like, this is running through my mind as I'm catching him. I'm like, I gotta figure out a way. And then an almost wreck happens, and it's leave it on the floor and hope for the best, and just went the other direction than JJ's car, and it worked out.
What a relief. Jimmie Johnson is in the Daytona 500. Toyota swept the duels tonight, and now we'll have 9 key partner race cars in the 500. Strength in numbers. Watch out. This could be Toyota's year. You know, Toyota has not won a points-paying super speedway race in the next-gen era. That very well could change Sunday evening. I want to mention Anthony Alfredo, who last night was able to qualify for the Daytona 500 on speed in that Beard Motorsports number 62. Huge for that team after they sadly missed the show last year. I'll let Anthony Alfredo talk a little bit about his race tonight.
I just tried to get a couple laps on the bottom, get clear on the top, make a couple laps up there in the pack, then just bail out to the back. And from there, I was just trying to see how far I could back up and still get back to the pack, just to see how far we could go without losing the draft, obviously, which I think that's important just in case you find yourself in that position, like leaving pit road on a green flag stop or something. And then the best part was I could speed on pit road, it didn't matter. So we were able to push the lights, see how far we could go. Can't make a mistake like that on Sunday. So I had the opportunity to make it tonight, and I took full advantage of it.
I also caught up with Carson Hocevar, who told me before the race that his goal was to race up front, try to make friends, try to show some of these veterans that, hey, you can work with me. We're fast. I'm legit. You can work with me on Sunday. Hocevar said he was really trying to work closely with his Hendrick semi-teammates there towards the end. Here's how he felt it went.
Hopefully doing these interviews and having this car sit here on the front stretch, that kind of shows, the 77 can get worked with. They were a little bit obviously more trimmed out, and I was doing my best and just wanted to relay that, and I was able to talk to them, and they had a little bit of constructive criticism that I can take and go to Sunday, and I hope they know I'm going to work on that and know that, and hopefully our car's a little closer that I can be a little bit more value next time.
Good result for the rookie Carson Hocevar. That was dual race number 1. Great move by Tyler Reddick on the last lap. Actually, a couple of moves to get the win. Awesome for him, but honestly, that wasn't the most interesting story. I thought JJ versus JJ was riveting television. I hope Fox did it justice. Let's talk about dual race number 2. Michael McDowell led the field to green after qualifying second outside pole last night. And earlier today, we'll talk more about this tomorrow perhaps, Front Row announced a very exciting deal with Ford, an expanded partnership. They are now a key partner, tier 1 organization. That's huge. Shows you where they got some of that extra speed, perhaps. And they've deepened their technical alliance with Team Penske. It's a Team Penske Ford they share the front row with on Sunday. Sky really could be the limit for Michael McDowell and even Todd Gillen this season, but that's a conversation for a later time. McDowell, trying to keep his car clean, didn't really put himself in any precarious positions tonight. A few drivers I want to shout out. At one point, it was really cool to see the 2 young Las Vegas racers, Riley Herbst in a Rick Ware Ford, and Noah Gragson, his first race, well, I guess his second race, he raced the Clash, but Noah Gragson with Stuart Haas, 2 young Las Vegas racers on the front row racing side by side for the lead here at Daytona. That was pretty cool. In this race, it was BJ McLoud racing David Reagan and Kaz Gralla for the final spot in the Daytona 500. Now, McLeod, I believe, had to beat both Reagan and Gralla. Not just one of them, he had to beat them both. Tall task for Live Fast Motorsports, especially a now part-time, non-chartered Live Fast Motorsports. Is their heart really in it? Are they really committed? They sold their charter. What kind of car were they going to bring to the track? It's unsponsored, a plain black livery. I did not expect anything from BJ McLeod tonight. and he was the show. He was racing inside the top 5 for a large stretch of this race. Where did that come from? We've never seen that from Live Fast or BJ, honestly. Not in the Cup Series, at least not that I can remember. BJ McLoud was slicing and dicing, wheeling and dealing with the best in the business. I've never doubted BJ McLeod's driving ability. I have doubted Live Fast's equipment. It was so cool to see him put his skills, put his passion on full display tonight. BJ McLoud was the show for a large portion of this race. It looked like he was a shoo-in to make the Daytona 500, beating a front row car. I just talked about Front Row Motorsports. They're a key partner team now. They've got a car starting second in the Daytona 500. BJ McLoud was blowing a front row car out of the water for a large portion of this race. Okay, let's get to the finish because this has a tragic ending. Huge crash with 13 laps to go. Another kind of weird stack-up deal. Maybe some ill-advised bump drafting through the tri-oval. The block, Byron. Ryan Blaney gets the worst of it, man. Just gets hooked right into the outside wall. Hard hit. Car was on fire. Blaney was pissed after the race. I only heard his MRN interview. He dropped an F-bomb. He was effing tired of people pushing in bad spots and causing him to wreck. I don't blame him. That's a huge hit, dangerous hit, and he did nothing wrong. It was other drivers perhaps being too aggressive in a bad spot on the track. And you look at the replay, Brad Keselowski's in there. I've seen Keselowski spin people out at Daytona in recent years quite a few times. I don't want to put all the blame on him, but maybe that's a driver that needs to be sent a message. I think Blaney was trying to send him a message there, even though he didn't call out Brad or Bush or anyone by name. Anyway, this huge crash took out a bunch of cars, unfortunately, and caused some damage even to BJ McLeod, caused him to spin. He was involved. Final restart, Gralla and Reagan made this move to the outside 3 wide and immediately fell back, fell right into BJ McLeod's lap, gave him a chance. Wounded car and all, coming to the checkered flag, BJ McLeod swings up high, has a shot, door to door with Kaz Gralla, comes up, just a few feet short. Kind of similar to what happened between JJ Yeley and Jimmy Johnson in the first duel race. That's what I'm saying. Not only did we have last lap passes for the win in both duels, we also had last lap side-by-side finishes for the final transfer spot in both duels. I don't remember the last time that's happened, if ever. So close for BJ McLeod, but he still got out of the car and had a smile on his face. Here's what he told me afterwards.
With our full-time Cup team, it was my job to make sure we stayed on budget, and I never really got cut loose. Like, Matt did a great job. Jessica always pushed me hard. Joe's told me, but it's like, realistically, I had a lot of people to take care of, and it always had me held back a little bit in the seat when we come to the speedways. Now, there's other downforce tracks. I've drove everything I have, and we're just 35th, right? But the speedways, I've never just said, hey, let's go up there and see if we can lead a line, right? And I know that it's only a 21 or 22 car field tonight, but it's still the guys that lead the 40 car field on Sunday. So I know for a fact that I'm capable of driving up there. Hopefully I proved to other guys that I can hold a straight line and that I'm good to be pushed. So that would be some brownie points moving forward that'll help us when we take a real chance at getting a top 10 and on a Sunday race. So a lot of stuff that's a positive out of tonight, and we just need to take that and build it and come back stronger.
It was really fun to watch out there tonight. Great couple of races. Let me know down in the comments below what you thought of tonight's Blue-Green Vacations duels at Daytona. Gosh, that's a tongue twister. The sweepers are at work behind me. Hopefully this is a new microphone, as you can tell. Hopefully the audio sounds okay. But thank you all so much for tuning in. We've got plenty more Daytona coverage coming your way all weekend long. Trucks, ARCA, Xfinity Cup. Hoping the rain stays away on Saturday and Sunday morning, but we'll see. We've dealt with worse here at Daytona many times in the past. We will persevere. Also want to give a shout out to Kyla for making me this cool Out of the Groove friendship bracelet. I made a new friend at the racetrack today. This was incredible. I forgot I had it on, actually. It looks really good. Matches my watch nicely. Anyway, I'm gonna get to work editing this video now and then go home and get some sleep. I've been up since 4 o'clock in the morning. Thanks for watching, y'all. Hope you enjoyed the duels. I'll see you again real soon.